Chapter 30, Look and Live, from JE2US-A Novel. Sunday morning. As our tribe was disbanding from Susie's yesterday, I had gotten a call from a friend saying, "Philip, get down to Lieu D Art. You've got to see this." Maddie came with me. We walked hand in hand the 12 blocks in silence, alone with our thoughts. The state media network and Baal had finally made a joint official statement about what had really happened on Friday night. They said that Jesus, in an effort to raise some money for his cause, was selling many of his paintings to the Baal elite, curators of most of the great paintings in America. One of Jesus' paintings had some denigrated images of the Baal icons, which touched off an argument. That led to Jesus challenging Sebastian Gontrafo, Lord Most Holy of the ineffable Baal, to a miracle magic competition. They went back and forth for a while, performing ever increasingly amazing, albeit dangerous feats. During Jesus' final act, something had gone horribly wrong, and he was crushed to death. The priests of Baal held an impromptu memorial for Jesus. His body was cremated. The memorial service has not yet been set. Anyone who remotely knew Jesus knew this was a total fabrication, and a weak one at that. You would think a quorum of priestly intellectuals from a Fortune 100 religion could have concocted a more creative scenario than that. Eulogies and tributes had been coming in from around the country and the world. The press was covering this 24/7, but as per usual, SMN was picking and choosing the tributes that resembled innocuous platitudes, portraying Jesus as a common man with a misguided benevolent streak. President Chatsworth had issued a statement. "The world will miss the voice of Jesus. He was a true champion for the poor and the cause of peace. May we all try to live as he did, in peace and harmony." Governor Paul Thorogood, who seemed to be coming around on his view of Jesus, also offered a statement, which was only carried by cable networks on the periphery. The world lost one of its most unique, compassionate individuals this week. I must admit that I was exceedingly skeptical of him at first. In our culture, it's almost foolhardy to think a human being can be as transparent and honest as this man, all the while displaying countercultural goodness. I am coming to believe, or at least consider, that he was who he said he was. That may make me naive, but I must trust my conscience. Rest in peace, Jesus. Maddie almost lost it when she read that. She had noticed incremental changes in his attitudes, but he had never confided in her or let on that he was following, with curiosity, her Jesus. When we had gotten within 6 blocks of the gallery, we noticed a line that was weaving through the streets and around corners. It didn't appear to be any kind of demonstration. The lines were too orderly. They were completely populated by slaves. At 2 blocks out, I asked someone what they were waiting in line for. "The painting," one man said. "It's a miracle." "Freedom," yelled a young woman. I heard whispers with the word emancipation. People had flown in from Chicago, New York, and Seattle. Maddie and I started jogging. We rounded the corner, the front of the line, just 50 feet away. I could see the front window of Lieu D Art. The line stopped there. As we pushed our way through the crowd, I saw the painting prominently displayed on an easel just inside the front window, bathed in a spotlight. It was the painting from last night, Jesus. The canvas was torn, a bullet hole through his forehead, Sebastian's initials etched on his cheek, and Maddie's slave number scrawled across his face. So slaves were coming to see this? Why? Then something weird happened. The number across his face changed. Literally, As I was watching, it became a different number. I heard the man next to me at the window let out a scream of pure joy. He looked at his hand, then held it up to my face, yelling, "Look, look, it's gone. The number's gone." I saw a 15-year-old girl step up next. She held her hand up against the window. Her arm started to shake and her number seemed to slam into the face of Jesus, changing the number again. Maddie, seeing what was happening, grabbed the young girl, hugging her. They both screamed and danced with joy. As I watched, I felt a slight tug on my arm. I turned to see if someone was touching me. I felt it again. This time, my arm made an involuntary turn toward the window, the painting. My heart started pounding. Maddie saw it. She reached over, took my arm, and pushed the back of my hand up against the glass. But I'm not a slave, I thought. The words of Jesus came crashing in on me. Every human being is a slave to something. The river takes us all. It doesn't ask which way you'd like to go. It doesn't ask if you'd like to go. It takes you where it is going. Maddie pushed my hand harder against the window. She looked at me and said, "Yes, you are. Let it go." My arm was now banging against the glass. Even though there was a power pulling, I sensed that I had a part to play too. I had to choose to let it go. And I did. Instantly, I knew he was taking more than my number. It's like the number had roots into my very being, my soul. I felt my insecurities shaking loose. The rivets that kept me in fear were rattling in their sockets. My lack of confidence was being magnetically purged. The river was changing course. Then the number peeled from my skin and splashed onto the face of Jesus. A burst of air filled my lungs. I felt water on my face. I was swimming upstream. I sensed freedom of a different kind. I grabbed Maddie and we jumped for joy as 28 years of inhibitions receded into the rearview mirror. Maybe this is what he meant when he said he was coming back. Jesus may not have been standing here, but his fingerprints were all over this moment. I pulled my phone from my pocket. "Peter, get your ass down here. Get the whole tribe down here. It's happening. It started the revolution, the Jesus revolution."